So imagine that your child is struggling with getting good grades in school and you want to motivate them. So you promise them something extravagant, like, say, a trip to Disneyland if they get all A's for the semester. What do you want your child to do in that situation? Do you want them to be excited about what you're offering, be excited about what they want, really go for it, work hard, and then accept their reward? Or do you want them to look at you and say, it would be selfish for me to want to go to Disneyland. Thanks anyways. But really, out of humility, I'm just going to take all C's. Is that what you would want your child to do? To, out of humility, refuse what you're offering them and instead take a lower grade? But that's what we do. That is what we do with God. We look at the desires that He's put in our heart. We look at who we are called to be, who we are craving to be, and we go, thanks God, but that's more than what I deserve. And it would be wrong for me to follow you, God, so I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to play it small. And we think we're being pious and holy, but that's not His will. Let's imagine another scenario. Let's say that there is a king who is trying to pick out a beautiful diamond ring for his queen. Now, this is a king. There is no diamond that he cannot afford. So he's taking her around and showing her all the different things, but everything she looks at, she's like, I think that's too nice and I don't deserve it. And she kind of backs down. So let's see, what are the 4 C's for a diamond? There's the color, the carat, the cut, and the clarity, right? So you got the 4 C's that determine the value of a diamond. So what if he's showing her all these things, and in each little category, she's taking it back down, going, no, I really don't deserve a ring that big. Thank you anyways, but that would be selfish. But all he's wanting to do is bestow his beloved queen with everything he can. Do you think in that moment he is pleased that she's turning his gift down? When we look at the quality of our life, there are also 4 C's. Everything can be divided up into 4 main categories to determine whether our life is a diamond life or not. That was a little cheesy, but there's the connection with other people, with ourselves, and with God. So this connection is how we relate to everybody and everything else. It's the thread that binds it together. It's what our soul needs to thrive. Then there is creating. Now, creating is the work that we do that stays done. It's our gift in the world. If you are an artist or a painter, or you sew things or something like that, that's obvious what create is. But create is also, if you're a teacher, it's the work you bring and do to make a difference in the life of your students. If you're a nurse, creating is the difference you're making for your patients. It's the thing you do that stays done, the mark you make on the world. Then there is cultivating. Now, cultivating is the work that we need to do but needs to be done again and again and again and again. So laundry, any sort of housework, responding to emails, those sorts of things that have to be done. They have to be done well, but we don't want them to take over. And then the last C is consume. And consuming, we tend to think negatively of consuming in our culture, but it's not just the bad stuff. It's anything we're bringing in. So yeah, it's buying things, it's the home we live in, it's the food we eat, it's the media we consume, but it's also the experiences we chase. It's the trips we go on. It's the classes that we take, the education we get. So anything that we choose to bring in. And the balance and the richness and the depth of those 4 C's is going to determine the overall quality of our life. So I've got an exercise for you. Let's take a sheet of paper. We're going to fold it in quarters. so that we have 4 rectangles. All right. Now in every single one of these quadrants, you're going to write a list of what you want in that C. Dream big. This is not so much an exercise in planning. This is an exercise in dreaming, because we have forgotten how to dream through abuse. We've become very practical and very small, and we're really good at seeing what is the least common denominator that we need in order to survive. We're really, really good at taking scraps of something and turning it into something amazing. We're good at it. We are not good at dreaming big after abuse, especially like a covert narcissistic abuse. We lose the ability to dream big. So set aside practicality. Nobody else has to see this. You don't have to worry about it being embarrassed. But in each of these categories, ideally, if you could have anything in your life, what would that look like? So what would your connections look like? What would your dream relationship look like? What would your relationship with God look like? What would your relationship with yourself look like? How would all of this feel? What friendships would you have, and what friendships would you not have? What would this whole area of your life look like? Creating. What work do you want to be doing? If you could do anything in the world, don't be practical. If you could do anything in the world, or if you could make anything in the world, or if you could touch the world in any way, what would that be? I have more books on my list than I could ever write. It's not about being practical. It's about dreaming big. I mean, I've got books on there. I've got retreats that I want to run. Just dream. Just run wild and dream. Cultivating. So with this one, what would that look like if you had a better system or even help to do these sorts of things? How would you spend your time to where it might be more efficient? What jobs would you be doing? What jobs would you not be doing? Would your family be helping with some of the cultivation stuff, some of the dishes and laundry and the routine things? How would that look? How would that whole section of your life look if it was ideal? And then consume. And consume, I mean, that's what do you want material-wise and experience-wise and education-wise? What would that sort of external aspect look like? Where would you want to live? What would you want to drive? Not just those things. What would you want to see and experience? And whatever it is that your heart is singing for and craving, write it down. Nobody else has to see it. Remember, it's not about being practical. It's about giving yourself permission to dream, because that's going to be part of healing. So go ahead and do this. Don't be practical, because there is no diamond that is too expensive for the king to afford. Dream, go crazy, write it all down, and I'll see you tomorrow.